Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. We're going to talk about a vulnerable narcissist. Now, I am not a psychologist or psychiatrist, but I have done some research and based on the 5 out of 9 traits. Often we can kind of tell if somebody is a narcissist. So I'm going to tell you a little story about an interview with somebody I live close to. When you're in a neighborhood, you got to kind of get along with your neighbors. Sometimes we help each other out. They've helped me jump my car. I've helped them with eggs or whatever. You got to maintain peace. Sometimes you're safer maintaining peace. So I was sitting on my porch and talking to this person. So I know that they seem to be vulnerable. They play the poor pity me. We're going to talk about the boundaries, the entitlement, boundary breaking, entitlement, and then a pretty in-depth, kind of scary thought process that they have. So hang in for that. But we're going to start at the beginning as the way that they break boundaries. Sometimes there are unspoken boundaries that we have within life. You know, don't touch somebody's privates. It's kind of unspoken. You know, you get taught that as you grow up and you just kind of should remember it. So this person, if they're in the house and a female friend of another person who lives in that house comes in, this person was like grabbing almost like in inappropriate places, little too close to the private spots, to somebody who doesn't even know. And I'm telling them, you can't just do that, maybe on the shoulder, but you shouldn't even touch them because you've just met them. You don't even know their name. And he's like, they're in my house. They can get the F out if, they don't like it. And I'm like, just because it's your house, you cannot do that. And they almost can't process it. They kept defending that, yes, I can. This is my house. They don't like it. They can leave. Usually, when you meet somebody for the first time, you should at least have a comfort that you're not going to get touched. So they can't comprehend that. He's not empathetic towards his child's needs a lot of times. He's kind of like treating his son like a brother, like they're 6- and 7-year-old brothers, kind of pantsing each other. Ha ha ha. The kid doesn't like it. And, I keep telling him not to do it. Don't do it in front of me. I'm a female. The kid's young and uncomfortable with it. And, so I give the kid a little comfort, a little solace when he visits dad. So the love, how narcissists a lot of times don't say, I love you. He withholds that from the kid. Sometimes he does say it, or he'll kind of force the kid to say it. And a lot of times narcissists will do that. Sometimes their purpose in saying, I love you, it's not like, I love you, I'm so glad you're here. It's like, I don't know, I need to hear you love me. So they'll say it. And that's the difference between narcissists. And sometimes it's hard to understand because during the love bombing stage, we feel so open and free, and we're finally able to start saying, I love you, and things are going good. So when they say it, we feel that they're similar type of people that we are, where we're saying it because we love this person. They're saying it for reassurance or an ego stroke. But it's hard to tell because during the love bombing, things are good. So anyways, as the night progressed today, we were just kind of sitting, chilling on the porch, and somehow we get into these weird conversations. And we were talking about, I don't know exactly how it got to this point, but it was talking about not really caring about people. And he went on like this was all him. It was a very chill, relaxed interview because I'm like, I'm going to go with this, see what's inside this person's mind, because I already see a lot of different narcissistic things. And so he has a disregard for law. He shoots his gun off outside our apartments. I live in a townhouse. So he's shooting off the gun. I'm like, you cannot do that. And so he walks a little bit of a way away, but disregard for open fire, what's like 11-12 o'clock at night, doesn't care about the people sleeping, doesn't care that it might cause trauma to somebody hearing gunshots, lies about it, says they're fireworks, and then sometimes admits it, but they push the legal limits. They try to get away with things because they think they're not going to get caught. They think they're better or they can get out of it. So the interview tonight, somehow we got on this topic of not caring about people and their emotions. And he's consistently said, you know, that unless I know you, I really don't care. And pay attention to narcissists that they witness, you know, an accident, a car accident. Are they like for me, I like start saying prayers, or I feel funny inside, like that poor person. I hope they're okay. Narcissists, oh my gosh, did you see that? That car was like mangled. So pay attention to how they react to situations where you should be empathetic. You know, what did they find funny? Is a tragedy funny to them? And then we talk about the narcissist and the way that they relate, how they don't have the empathy. So this narcissist has a little boy, and he does get a little upset when in like a movie where a young boy is, let's say in the movie, murdered. It kind of hits home with him because he does care about his son. He doesn't do things the right way. The way he loves is not the right kind of love, but he does care about his kid, because narcissists can care about their possessions. Okay. They can care about their possessions. Does he always treat the little boy like a human? No, but he cares about the boy. It's kind of messed up. We can go more into that. So he does not care watching a movie where a little girl gets murdered. Can't relate to it. I don't know what. So like, he doesn't process that, you know, it's a person regardless of what sex they are. And it doesn't have to do with race. Like, he's not racist. Like if it was a black boy or a Mexican boy, it hits home with him. But a girl, it doesn't. So when we have our empathy, it's sympathy is when we can kind of see it, but empathy means we can really relate. They can't really relate. It doesn't hit home. So that boy girl example is, he doesn't relate to it. So in these narcissistic relationships, they don't relate to our feelings. They don't relate. They don't understand it. So just like that little girl, just like our feelings, they don't care. Just like that funny little accident that happened where people are dying, they don't relate to it. Like, so like, I don't know them. Like, they're just objects, you know, they don't have a connection with them. Why bother? And so we got a little more in depth, and it kind of got a little creepy, scary. Talking about, you know, just killing people, And he had said that, you know, if he was in a different country, you know, he wouldn't mind killing someone just cause. And so I kind of wanted to see a little bit more about what exactly this is, because he is very dismissive on caring about people he doesn't know about. He did try to justify it, like he did mention women and children, good people. So he must think there's like some evil male. Maybe his father. I know he was abandoned by his father. I don't know how early on. I think it was like 1 or 2, maybe 2 or 3, but I don't know if there's any physical abuse from the dad at the dad saw him. But somehow when he has said good people, so maybe there's some males mixed in there, but it was mostly women and children, he probably wouldn't shoot, and like good women. But he's like, or maybe a boyfriend, girlfriend, he would be willing to do that, but not in this country. He would do it in a different country so he wouldn't get caught. And then he's like, yeah, you and I could do that. And then, you know, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Cause he was like, pop, pop. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, well, then you would just be a, I'm so tired, you guys, accessory to murder. So then you would probably tell on me. So no, you'd have to too. So that's where they kind of, which I'm not going to do, but they kind of try to get get you in on their team, or make sure you're not going to tell on them. So often they'll get you to do some things that you're not comfortable doing. So you don't tell on them. So you're just as much accountable. And then, so I was trying to understand, like, because I've watched a couple videos on this, also, with my studies on the criminal mind. Like, I thought about being a criminal psychologist. Is that interesting to me? But he didn't really know why. He didn't really know why. He could do it. I'm not going to do it, but yeah, I could. And I don't think he's going to. For one thing, he can't afford to go to another country. But the mind thinks ahead. In the narcissistic mind, how do I entrap you to do this with me? How can I get away with it? And just the dismissiveness, the lack of empathy. Even in that situation, which I don't think he's going to do it. I think he could. I think he could, no doubt. As long as he won't get caught, because he even said that, like, yeah, it'd be kind of neat to see, and I don't know, like, that's not something I ever want to see. And it's just there could be some other mental illnesses mixed in with that, but he's definitely narcissistic by a lot of traits. But I just thought it was really interesting. The more I started talking to him, the more you can see the lack of empathy, and it infiltrates their life. Just like when they had one of the roommates brought a guest over, felt entitled. He felt entitled to touch on me, which I had to set up boundaries. They play the poor pity me. They like to try to break boundaries. And just the word salads, the justifications, lack of accountability, lack of accepting advice on, how to change their actions, why you should treat people different ways, how it affects them. I've talked to him about his little boy, like what this is doing. And, this tough love type stuff, to where it's to the extreme. And, like the pantsing, embarrassing the kid, doing that out in public, how wrong that is, what that's doing to the boy, explaining, like, this is really going to damage your relationship with your kid in the future. They're not going to want to be around you. And they're like, no, he needs to be toughened up. He doesn't need to be coddled. He doesn't need to be hugged. He needs to be toughened up. And so far, this is like the most purest heart boy. He is so amazing. And it's really sad. I kind of keep an eye on them, so I can give that little boy some hugs and reassurance, and kind of watch to see exactly what's going on, to make sure that it's safe. But that's the thing with narcissists, is sometimes they're very unpredictable. They're all about themselves. They can, depending on their depth of lack of empathy, or what is important to them. You might have some safety in a relationship with them, but it's not healthy. It's not healthy. I'm able to talk to him because I am not emotionally invested, other than watching for the little boy and stuff. And sometimes with narcissists, you can have great conversations. Like tonight's conversation was interesting, also scary. But be cautious when you talk to narcissists. 20-25% of this world is narcissistic. And to function in life, we will encounter some. So don't become emotionally invested, because they will play with your mind. And when we start to be invested in them, that's when it does the most damage. That's when it does the most damage. Like if you called me, I don't know, fat or ugly, or too skinny, or, too tall, whatever you called me, no, I don't care. I really don't care. I mean, it's not nice, but you know, I'm strong enough within myself. But if my boyfriend or my parents or my daughter, if they call me fat, ugly, skinny, fat, whatever, it hurts me. So that's where a lot of our pain comes from. A lot of our pain comes because that's our safety net. Whether it's friends, family, lovers, husband, wife, that's our safety net. And it's hard to not care when you're within that bubble of your safe spot, and it's becoming unsafe. You know, you're walking on eggshells and trying to preserve the safety of your life, whether it's emotional safety, physical safety. So if you guys would like some certain topics, please let me know. One-on-ones are available. Please comment below. And I just thought it was interesting to see the entitlement, disregard for boundaries, and especially the lack of empathy. The lack of empathy. I don't think he's going to do it, but he could. He definitely could. And honestly, it's so weird how certain minds are like that, to where they wouldn't blink an eye. You know, and you think about it too. This is kind of a good analogy, is there are hunters out there. There are hunters out there. Me, I can't kill an animal. Like I just can't do it. There's nothing wrong with hunting if you eat the meat or whatever. And that's up to you guys what you believe. But you know, you let's say your husband goes out and shoots a deer so you have meat for the winter. You know, if it's for a purpose, to them, for them, a lot of times to process it, it's like not a living soul, or it's they'll justify it as like the food chain, like somebody's got to eat something. And then also like with nurses and doctors, that they do have empathy. They're not all, but they have to kind of shut down, put up barriers to survive with the death and the pain that they see. So the narcissist puts up those boundaries, but they still want somebody there to adore them. It's such a mind twist how they work. Doctors and nurses they will let their empathy seep out, and that's the good bedside manners that you'll see. A lot of them do pour their hearts into it, but as a survival technique, they kind of mask up that empathy. They kind of have to survive. It's not 100% that they can do it, but the narcissist, they go into that survival mode, but they don't open up. So my sister's a doctor. She is very, very empathetic. But you got to, I don't know, I was in nursing school too. I've done a lot of different things. And the way you treat things sometimes is survival mode. You know, so these narcissists are in a lifetime of survival. And it's a facade. You know, this neighbor person felt accepted and comfortable, so they were able to talk to me. They felt where they're not judged, so they're able to open up, and they didn't feel like you know, we're not in a relationship, so it's not like we're going to break up if he tells me something I don't like. So the narcissist is trying to build this comfort, and they're uncomfortable in comfort, so they destroy it. And that's what's so weird, is they destroy the comfort that they seek, but when they get it, they don't want it. They like the chaos. I'll see you soon. Have a good night.